autonomous useful vehicles at scale, at low cost, which is what Tesla's going to do, is staggering. I continue to believe that Tesla, with excellent execution, will be the most valuable company in the world by far. But that's an important if. We must execute well. But if we do execute well, I think Tesla will be the most valuable company in the world by far. It may be as valuable as the next 5 companies combined. So, but there'll be a few bumps along the road before that happens. I said, I think on the last earnings call that we'll start to see the prosperity of autonomy take effect in a material way around the middle of next year. We still expect to be selling fully autonomous rides in June in Austin, as we've been saying for now several months. So that's continued. But the real question from a financial standpoint is, when does it really become material and affect the bottom line of the company, and start to be a fundamental part of when does it move the financial needle in a significant way? That's probably around the middle of next year, second half of next year. And then once it does start to move the financial needle in a significant way, it will really go exponential from there. So I'd encourage people to look beyond like the, some sort of bumps and potholes of the road immediately ahead of us, but lift your gaze to the bright, shining, citadel on a hill. I don't know, some Reagan-esque imagery, and that's where we're headed. And not too distant future, like I said, end of next year or something. So, let's see. With respect to supply chain risk, something that Tesla has been working on for several years is to localize supply chains. This actually makes sense from a cost standpoint, and from a logistics risk standpoint. Is to have the supply chains be at least located on the continent in which the car is built. And so we are, I think, the least affected car company with respect to tariffs, at least in most respects. I mean, it remains to be seen. And now tariffs are still, tough on a company when margins are still low, but we do have localized supply chains in North America, Europe, and China. So that puts us in a stronger position than any of our competitors. And undoubtedly, I'm going to get a lot of questions about tariffs, and I just want to emphasize that the tariff decision is entirely up to the President of the United States. I will weigh in with my advice with the President, which he will listen to my advice, but then it's up to him, of course, to make his decision. I've been on the record many times as saying that I believe lower tariffs are generally a good idea for prosperity. But this decision is fundamentally up to the elected representative of the people, being the President of the United States. So, I'll continue to advocate for lower tariffs rather than higher tariffs, but that's all I can do. So, now let me walk you through why I'm so excited about the future of Tesla. So first of all, autonomy. The team and I are laser focused on bringing Robotaxi to Austin in June. Unsupervised autonomy will first be solved for the Model Y in Austin, and then actually we should parse out the terms robotic taxi or robotaxi and just generally like what's the cybercab, because we've got a product called the cybercab, and then any Tesla, which could be an S3, X, or Y that is autonomous, is a robotic taxi or robotaxi. It's very confusing. So the vast majority of the Tesla fleet that we've made is capable of being a robotaxi or robotic taxi. And as we're going from, once we can make the system work where you can have paid rides fully autonomously with no one in the car in one city, that is a very scalable thing for us to go broadly within whatever jurisdiction allows us to operate. So because what we're solving for is a general solution to autonomy, not a city-specific solution for autonomy. Once we make it work in a few cities, we can basically make it work in all cities in that legal jurisdiction. So once we can make it basically work in a few cities in America, we can make it work anywhere in America. Once we can make it work in a few cities in China, we can make it work anywhere in China, likewise in Europe, limited only by regulatory approvals. So this is the advantage of having a generalized solution using artificial intelligence and an AI chip that Tesla designed specifically for this purpose, as opposed to very expensive sensors and high precision maps of a particular neighborhood where that neighborhood may change or often changes, and then the cost stops working. So we have a general solution instead of a specific solution. And with regard to Optimus, we're making good progress in Optimus. We expect to have thousands of Optimus robots working in Tesla factories by the end of this year, doing useful work. And we expect to scale Optimus up faster than any product, I think, in history, to get to millions of units per year as soon as possible. I think feel confident in getting to 1 million units per year in less than 5 years, maybe 4 years. So by 2030, I feel confident in predicting 1 million Optimus units per year. It might be 2029. So let's see, with respect to energy, our energy business is doing very well. The Megapack enables utility companies to output far more total energy than would otherwise be the case. When you think of the energy capability of a grid, it's much more than the total energy output per year. If the power plants could operate at peak power for all 24 hours, as opposed to being at half power or sometimes a quarter power at night, then you could double the energy output of existing power plants. But in order to do that, you need to buffer the energy so that you can charge up something like battery pack at night and then discharge into the grid during the day. So this is a massive unlock on total energy output of any given grid over the course of a year. And utility companies are beginning to realize this and are buying our Megapacks at scale. So at this point, a gigawatt class battery is quite a common thing. So we have many orders in the hopper for gigawatt and beyond batteries. And we expect the stationary energy storage business to scale ultimately to terawatts per year. So very, very big numbers. Now, Q1, first quarters of a year are usually pretty tricky because it's usually the worst quarter of the year because people don't want to go buy a car in the middle of winter during a blizzard. So, so we picked Q1 as like a good quarter to do a cut over to the new version of the Model Y, and we changed production of the world's best-selling cars. With remembering, the Model Y is the best-selling car of any kind on Earth, with a 1.1 billion unit per year output.